Hey, what is up guys? I'm Xayah, and in this video, I'm going to bestow the day 1 meta knowledge to you guys because I ran it down a lot during day 1. Thanks for holding 8th place for me, President. Getting right into it. Here is the small tier list that I'm gonna show real quick, and what I think here is top left is the strongest, bottom right is the weakest, so basically left to right. And the reason why I think each of these comps are placed in certain places is because S tier is basically super consistent, you can force it from any angle, and it's easy to play majority of the time. A tier is more like you have to play in a specific spot, and if you don't hit certain things, you will probably lose. B tier is oddly too specific, and maybe it costs a lot of econ to play the comp, but in the end, if you do hit, you basically win out. Starting off with our first comp we're going to be talking about here is the strongest comp currently, is basically the base meta. Therefore, if your comp is not strong enough to beat this, then it's too weak kind of thing. And the main carries for your board here is most likely going to be a Ryze. Main reason why is because it's easy to build his items. All you need is just Voice Staff, Guard Breaker, plus 1 AP item. It could be literally anything. And the combination for these items is actually really good. You don't really need a mana regen item because Voice Staff itself already gives you mana regen, and just makes it to where Ryze could just one-shot everything. His best fruit to take would be Ice Bender. The reason why is because it's a specific unique one for him. It just makes him super strong. That's all you need to know. Another really good Ryze fruit could be Stormbender. So basically, just look for any bender fruits and you're good. Your secondary carry is Yone or Lee Sin. It's just whatever you want to hit first, but I'll explain to that later. For now, let's talk about Yone. The items you want to build is either Edge of Night or Stacks. So that's the defense item. You can build either Bloodthirster or Hodge for lifesteal, or not even lifesteal at all. You can use any lifesteal fruit. And then third item could be either Titans or Kraken. Either one's fine. It's just essentially any damage items is good. For Yone's fruit, if you don't have lifesteal, look for Crimson Veil or anything that gives you a huge amount of Omni Vamp because he needs it since he's a frontline unit. Other than those kind of fruits, you can look for any damage one, or you can look for any attack speed one, like for example, Stretchy Arms is actually really good on Yone. Another one I do like here is also Unflinching. If you don't have Edge of Night, or if you don't have QSS or Titans, this is a really good one as well. So basically anything to do with Omni Vamp or anything to do with attack speed would be great on Yone. The tip that I said earlier, if you have a Lee Sin carry, then you could play him instead, and you turn him into an executioner. From here, you can just get rid of GP, and yes, you're gonna have down to 3 mech instead of 5, but it's fine because 5 mech literally doesn't change anything from 5 or 3. You rather have better units. And if you turn him into executioner, he would stun like everything on the board after 3 executions, basically after he gets 3 kills. Then he will knock up everyone on the board. So you can play either Lee Sin carry or Yone carry, whichever one you can find at level 8 or level 9. Either one's fine. And the positioning I like to do is something like this is fine. The main reason why is because in set 15, tanks, basically like Udyr and J4, has a higher chance to get targeted. So therefore, you kind of want to alternate having tank, damage, and then tank right here as well. And this is the kind of positioning I do most of the time. If you're struggling at level 8 to look for either a Lee Sin or a Yone, you can use Volibear too, is fine as well. He could be the item holder until you can find one of those units later, and this could be your level 8 board until then. Other than that, there's no really other tips for this comp. It's pretty easy to be honest. It's just hit the Ryze 2, and you can fast 9 and then play for the legendary units. Oh, before I forget, in order to farm a lot of gold, just play GP and you can put any sword item on him like Edge of Night or IE, and he'll give you a lot of gold to hit to level 8 or 9 as well. Next up, we got this is one of the easiest comps to play, which is 8 Soul Fighter. There's not really much to say about this comp. It's just throw out as much Soul Fighters as you can. Kalista will essentially be your main carry until you can find Samira at level 8. And the items I would suggest for Samira is IE and Guardbreaker, and then plus 1 item. It could be Shojin or anything. The big thing about this board is that when items, you put Voice Staff and Relo. These are like the best staple of AP items no matter what, because these 2 items basically equivalent to almost a blue buff because it gives you basically 4 mana regen per second if you have both of them. And they actually are very strong items overall, because Voice Staff gives you a lot of AP, it also shreds magic resist, and Merlacon gives a decent amount of AP, but it burns the whole board. So having these 2 items on her is actually really powerful. You just put plus 1 item on her, like maybe like Death Cap, or you can throw Edge of Night. It doesn't really matter. But for Set's case, as long as you have an Even Shroud for your Samira, that's all that matters. Your 9th unit could be a Volibear because you need that Edgelord, or if you get lucky enough, maybe a Yone too. For your fruit on Samira, I would suggest Crimson Veil because there's a lot of things that do damage to Samira, and this will help her stay alive. Or if you want a damage one, Precision is a really good damage one because it basically destroys the whole board. Even though you lower down your attack speed, it converts it into damage, so therefore she'll hit really hard. Essentially saying the fruits you want is damage or Omni Vamp. I prefer Omni Vamp on Samira, but if you don't want it, you could look for damage ones. If you want to look for a set fruit, Tankzilla would be pretty decent. Basically any tank one is fine. But most of the time, I like to fruit my Gwen to get needle work because this is actually really OP on her, since she will fire 2 more needles. Therefore, that Morellicon that you put on Gwen would basically just hit the whole board. I don't know, there's not really much about to say about Soul Fighter. Just win streak, Hope for the best. Next up we got is one of the most powerful reroll combos in the current meta, which is Katarina reroll. Surprisingly enough, they buffed her a lot in the PvE, and now we finally know how to play her. The items you want to put on her is Guardbreaker. Main reason why is because this item is actually just broken in general in the current meta, and on top of that, it gives her a lot of damage. You don't really need Jewel Gauntlet because you have Executioner, so Executioner is already a built-in Jewel Gauntlet. Therefore, you just build Guardbreaker. Edge Knight is kind of a must-have almost because this allows her to get away pretty easily and kill everything on the board. And you could do a lifesteal item like Hodge. Basically, you want to prioritize in Carousel is gloves as much as you can. And then your Yuumi could hold the debuff items like Voice Staff and Relicon. When you're rolling this board at level 6, the board you can play will look something like this, where you have Kalista instead of the Yuumi because this will be easier to find, and you keep the Ezreal in. The Ryze won't be here unless you high roll him. You won't most likely get a Leona either, or you don't even need the Jace as well. And the unit you could throw out here is Xayah Destabilize because you get 2 Bastion, you get 2 Executioner, you get 2 Soul Fighter. The last unit could be literally whatever. You can make Rakan your main tank if you want, if you have tank items like for example Warmongs. If you want to 3-star him, it's fine. He could be pretty good for that, because his ability allows him to heal, and the more academy units have, the higher his heal would be. Other than that, that's basically about it. You can have either Kalista hold the AP items back here, or Ezreal can hold them. Either one's fine. As you level up, just throw out more academy units, and you can switch out Kalista for Ryze, and just take out Xayah. Basically about it. The best fruit you can put on Katarina is Trickster. The main reason why is because basically you will have 2 Edge Knights then. So this allows her to go to the back line if she's low, and then your Edge Knight will also proc in the back line so that she can stay alive for as long as she can, and she also deletes the whole back line. If you don't have any lifesteal items, you can do Dark Amulet because this fruit allows you to heal every time you cast, and on top of that, every time you do cast, you lose some HP. But overall, it's pretty much worth it because you get a lot of damage from this fruit overall. Unless you want to default lifesteal fruit, you can do Crimson Veil. It's fine as well. And then for your tank fruit, it could be literally anything. It doesn't really matter. If you want an idea, Tankzilla is always the go-to. Another reroll comp that's also powerful in the current meta and is actually super easy to play as well. The condition you need is either Rage Blade or Jewel Gauntlet start with Kayle 2. If not, you could have a Zac 2. Either one's fine. And the concept is basically just have a strong enough front line to last long enough for Kayle to kill everything. The win condition is to hit level 9 on this board. So basically, you're rolling for Kayle 3, Zac 3, and then if you want to, you could also do Aatrox 3 if you have enough gold for it or enough time. And you can also do the fair reroll. It's totally up to you. You don't really have to make them 3-star. It's just an option that you can do. The main fruit you want to put on Kayle is Final Ascent because the level 7 on Kayle is actually really powerful since you gain a lot of damage every time you auto attack 3 times. If you're lucky enough or you have enough gold, when you hit level 10, you basically win the game with this fruit overall. Another good fruit on Kayle would be Final Form. Basically, it's kind of wrong here though, but it's 5-2. If your KO is 3-star before stage 5-2, then during stage 5-3, it'll become 4-star. So you have pretty good stats with that. But the issue is you're basically kind of down a fruit since you have to wait until stage 5-3 in order for it to be active. If you want to do the default one, Wrapping Rage is actually really good on Jinx because you gain a lot of attack speed every time you auto. Other than that, there's not really much other fruits you can take. It's just either extra auto attack fruits or basically just upgrading KO with fruits. And then for Zac's fruit, you can go for the default tank one, for example Tankzilla, or you can look for anything that debuffs the board like anti-heal or something that can like remove magic resist on the board. Either one's fine. You could use utility fruit on Zac and it'll be good overall as well. The one tip I can say before I forget is you can use Flicker Blades. It's actually really broken on KO. Other artifacts that can make you win would be Gambler's Blade or Static. These are fine as well. Next up, we got a pretty decent comp here, which is Yuumi Prodigy. If you guys recognize this board, it's basically from the Malzahar reroll with Rammus, but I feel like you'll get outcapped pretty quickly because during this meta, I feel like you don't have the luxury to make Rammus hit level 30. Unless you're just playing in a weak lobby, then that's a different case. But essentially, you want to play for Yuumi carry, and her best items would be Voice Staff, Morello, and Archangel Staff. Essentially, you can just build these two and then whatever AP items overall, it doesn't matter. And then for your main tank, it could be Cassante to begin with because most of the time you might play this board overall. This would be the best default even though there's only 7 units in. For your level 8 unit, you can use in whatever, a filler until you can find something good. Like for example, you can use TF or you can use Leona, is fine. And then when you do hit level 9, then you can throw out Garen, so you have pretty decent stats. But the best way of playing this board is if you have emblems, like for example, if you have Star Guardian emblem, then you put it on Malzahar, because he's a pretty good unit too overall. So other leftover AP items, you can throw it on him. So this means that you can take away 1 Academy here, and then you can play this board with 5 Academy, 5 Prodigy. And if you do hit level 9, then you can throw in a bashing unit to like Rel because you get extra Star Guardians for your Syndra and your Seraphine. Or better yet, if you have a Prodigy emblem, this is even better. then you can just get rid of the Syndra, and then you can just play the same default board like this. And Prodigy Emblem allows you to cap even better at level 8 because you're able to play more tank units on the board. And then level 9, you can just throw in whatever. The main reason why I'm positioning like this is because Gargoyle Stone Plates on Cassante is actually really OP. So after he dies, all these units will walk up, and then he resurrects and does his thing, and then these units will start tanking. A good fruit you can look for Yuumi is Bullet Hell because it gives you a lot more damage since she'll fire a lot more projectiles, therefore she will do more true damage. Another good damage fruit you can put on Yuumi is Stormbender because she does a lot of damage, so basically saying that 25% will convert from what damage she did to kill the backline pretty easily because the Storm actually goes to the backline, so therefore you have a lot of damage there. Or another decent one overall could be Fairy Tail because you shoot a lot of fairies every time you cast an ability, and funny enough, because you're playing Prodigy, you gain a lot of mana, therefore you're gonna cast a lot over time. So those are the good 3 fruits I can say that would be on Yuumi. And then your tank one could be whatever. It could be like Tankzilla like always, or just whatever you want. If you're wondering why not just play 7 Battle Academia, and the reason why is because I've actually never seen anyone cash it out, since trying to get 175 points with items on the board is actually pretty hard. If you do cash it out, it's probably stage 7 by then. So in the end, it's not even worth to play 7 Academia. For Yumi's case at least, because 5 Prodigy, at least she heals the whole board. And then compared to Katarina, she needs the 7 Academia to do extra damage. So that's the difference between the two. Next up, we got is one of my favorite reroll comps, which is Xayah. And most of the time, I don't really play this comp because it has all these specific direction. You kind of need to start with Xayah and a Rage Blade. If you don't have those conditions, there's kind of no point to play this comp because 3-starring Xayah is actually kind of hard, and Shen is actually kind of contested with all the crew players. So if you're lucky enough and you can 3-star Shen, then it should be easy top 3. On top of that, you have to 3-star Yasuo as well, which is kind of hard to do overall. And you have to play this comp at level 7 instead of level 6. So there's a lot of downsides to it, but the upsides, if you do hit, is pretty decent. And then to hit your level 9 board, you just fill it up with more edgelords like Volibear and Yon. That's basically about it. The best fruits I can say you could put on Xayah would be Kahuna Huna. This allows you to basically one-shot everything with Xayah. Wrapping Rage is actually pretty good on Xayah overall too, because it gives you more attack speed. Or Double Strike allows her to auto-attack even more. So basically anything to do with amplifying your auto-attacks on Xayah is pretty decent fruit overall. And if you take one, you can use whatever you want. If you want to fruit Yasuo, you can just look for Omnivamp ones like Unflinching is okay for Yasuo, or Final Boss so you can get extra damage on him. Next up we got is Star Guardian, and you can play either AD or AP version. Basically, if you do play AD, just make Xayah as the autumn holder with IE Kraken, and then +1 like Rage Blade or Death Blade, either one's fine. And then for APKs, if you're playing for Ahri, Voice Staff, Adaptive +1 AP, or just Voice Staff and then whatever overall. Then for your tank items, it's just whatever on Poppy. There's not really much to say about this comp, it's just play all Star Guardians and throw out Kubuko. If you have Star Guardian emblem, just throw it on him. Basically about it. And the fruits you want to look for is whichever one's your main carry, just put Star Sailor on them, and then put the other one on Poppy so she can last a lot longer. That's basically about it. It's just either Star Sailor Ahri as your main carry, or Jinx, whatever one, then Poppy. Next up we got is Sniper Bastion, and essentially you want to play for Varus carry, not really Jinx carry. It's gonna be like an awkward situation when you hit level 8 because you have to roll down for Jinx 2, or just Jinx in general, and you have to roll down for a Leona too. If you cannot find Varus when you hit level 8 while rolling down, then just put the Varus items on Jinx, and then once you hit level 9, then hopefully look for Varus, then you can transfer the items over to him. That's basically about it for the concept of this comp. The main fruit you want to look for on Varus is Doom Barrage. If you don't have this on him, you're basically gonna lose. You have to have this one on him no matter what. There's really no other way around it. And for Leona's case, Living Wall is really good because it converts her armor and magic resist to gain more attack speed for the backline, so therefore Varus and Jinx can attack more. Or you can just go for a default one like Tankzilla is fine as well. If you want to find a strong fruit on Jinx to hold off until you can hit level 9, Precision is probably like the best because she will just one-shot everything. Next up we got is one of my favorite reroll comps, and actually been winning a lot of games with, is the Veigo reroll. You can play for GP reroll if you want to as well at level 6 if you have to, but I prefer hitting level 7 and just rolling for Veigo 3, and you put fruits on both of them, on Veigo and GP. The concept is just hit fast 7, look for 6 duelists, throw out either Neferi or Set, so you can have at least the Soul Fighter on Veigo, and you also gain Juggernaut with Udyr. And then when you hit level 8, you can throw in a +1 unit like TF is fine. If you do find a Lee Sin, you can just get rid of Kaisa. I would say she's probably like the worst out of all of them. You kind of need this magic resist shred from KO, and then Ashe is okay overall. So I would say get rid of the Kaisa since she's actually kind of useless with no items. And you can just position Lee Sin like this and turn him into a duelist. Unless you hit 9 somehow, most of the time you're probably stuck 7 and 8 the whole game. But if you do hit 9, then you can just have Kaisa in, make Lee Sin into a Juggernaut, and then just throw one more random Juggernaut. So you have at least 4 Juggernaut and 6 duelists on the board. The main fruit you want on Veigo is Blink Attack no matter what, because this allows him to literally just one-shot everything. If not, you could get Trickster for both GP and Veigo, this is fine as well. And then for GP's case, Stretchy Arms is like his best because this allows him to basically snipe the backline. So therefore, he could just one-shot the backline with his gun. Unless you want to default, Omnivamp 1, Unflinchy is okay for both as well. Finally, our last comp, which is one of the easiest, I'm gonna briefly go over it because it's that easy, which is Crew Reroll. The main conception that people have is people think you play Sivir as the main carry, but no. Funny enough, you play Malphite as the main carry first. So you want to prioritize Malphite items. The main reason why is because you want to hold out long enough so you can play your main carry in the backline, which is Ziggs. The main reason why is Ziggs because we're basically playing all strategies, and he actually hits really hard, and he also doesn't miss his ability. The main item you want on Ziggs is a Void Staff, and then you can put Rage Blade, Death Cap, or whatever AP item like Archangel, it's fine. And for Malphite's case, you need Gargoyle Stoneplate, and whatever tank items you can find. And a Sivir, if you do want to play as a carry, then you can do IE, plus whatever, it doesn't even matter the items. The concept for this comp is you want to keep rolling forever and you never want to level. A good proof of Malphite you can put on him is like Unstoppable because he'll just run people down, so it's pretty funny to see him run around. Or my go-to, which is Standalone, because he has Gargoyle Stoneplate and you want him to be alone in the front line, he'll gain more health so he can last longer. If not, anything to do with HP, it's fine on Malphite. If you want a good Sivir one, you can do Attack Expert because it's just straight attack damage, so that's pretty good for overall. And the good one for Ziggs is either Stormbender, because this allows you to do a lot of damage with him, or you can do Demolitionist if you want the extra CC. Either one's fine. And that's basically about it for all these strong comps in the current meta of day 1 in set 15. If you have any questions about any of the comps, or if you're confused about something, you can say that down in the comment section down below. Or if you want a faster response, you can just check out my stream since I'm going to be playing about almost 8 hours a day. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.